Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode here about Bella Interviews. I'm really excited today to be here with Veronica Fuentes from ForeverPaz Custom Printing. Welcome, Vero.
Gracias. Thank you for having me. It's an honor. Thank you for your time and giving me the opportunity to share my story. Um, my name is Veronica Fuentes, as you know, and I'm the owner of ForeverPaz Custom Printing. Everything that I do is screen printing, but also now I do sublimation printing and also heat press printing. I've been doing this experience for over, 10 years. Registered the business in 2016. I knew that I had to do something more than just a hobby and show the world what I can do, mostly my community. I really want to be more involved with South Central LA. I was born in East LA. I always been going back to East LA, even though I'm out of East LA, maybe about, oh my God, I was probably there till I was 15. But going back, my stepdad also, he was a entrepreneur himself. So his business always was in East LA. So what I do with screen printing, I just love to create your ideas. And, I just like to bring people's visual ideas into life, like a printing to say, this is what you created, and help as much as I can to help also small business owners to, pursue their dreams and help them accomplish as much as they can.
That's so beautiful. So I'm really excited about just kind of digging a little deeper and going through your journey of, how you started. And also we're going to touch on tips and ideas that you have for future entrepreneurs. But we're going to start first with kind of just share a little bit about the concept. I know we were talking about it a little before we got on camera, but how did the concept come about of ForeverPaz custom printing? Like, how did you get started with that?
Okay, so with ForeverPaz Printing, before the business, I used to work in human resources for 6 years. I had worked, hotel industry, but then babies came along again. So I just couldn't stay home and just, I love the idea of staying home and bonding with my baby. It was so different comparing to my older daughter. I was work, school, and 12 years I had to go to school. I had to do this. So after my second child came along, I was like, what am I going to do next? Like, what am I going to do next? So I started, my mom, she inspires me a lot. She was an entrepreneur herself in East LA. She owned a fabric called una fábrica called Margie's Fashion. So she used to sew clothes for different companies, overalls, jean jackets. She's always been in that type of industry of sewing and designing clothes and stuff like that. So when I was a little girl, I'm like, this is amazing, just my mom shows up like a boss with her cafecito. And it was like, wow, that's my mom,
Yeah.
and maybe younger and no le decía, I wouldn't share that with her because I was young. I was just inspired, like these workers would come in and help my mom. But unfortunately, she had to close down. So, that always stayed with me. Like my mom inspired me. So when I was looking into, a business, I was like, what am I going to do? I want to be a designer. And then I started doing my research and I'm like, oh my God, designing is just too much competition out there. Like what? And I was like, what about the maker? Like maybe I could be a creator, a maker, what are designers, who do they hire or how do they get their t-shirts done? And it's just something that is just like, I started looking into more YouTube. It's always, I call it my Bible because it shares a lot, you can learn a lot from other people. So I was looking for a name. I got all these ideas together. My husband's like, I don't know what you're doing, but just let me know once you figure it out. I'm like, okay. He was patiently waiting what I was trying to do. So then finally I was like, let me go online. Let me see how these machines, let me see how do they work? What's the cost? Like, is it in my budget? And finally I ended up purchasing a small machine that only will make one shirt at a time. And then I'm like, now I need a name. I need a name. And I'm like, okay, Ronick was given to me by my sister. It was a childhood name because she had a best friend. And from there, we were both Veronicas. And I was like, maybe I should do Ronick custom printing. And then I'm like, it just doesn't feel right, And then like at the time, my mother-in-law, like I said, passed away. Her middle name was Paz. My brother passed away. My brother, he was also inspired to do a clothing line as well. And I was like, what name? And then I was like, Forever Paz. And I was like, you know what? It just ended up sitting very well with me. It was a special connection. And it's Spanish and English is ForeverPaz Custom Printing. It just means a lot to me, that name. And it's also like a piece of something, you know, I'm always giving you something, and, you know, it works fine. And I love that name, ForeverPaz Custom Printing. So it's pretty long, but it comes from the heart. And it's just something that it will always be special to me. There's a meaning with that name.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I love that. I think there's always when we have entrepreneurs and small business owners, there's always a reason, even to that detail, like the name, right? You think everything through it. Everything has value, everything has some personal experience tied to it. And I think the names and the brands that we give ourselves, especially, we want it to be something that kind of carries us through, that shines our purpose through, even from the onset of when people hear our name. There's meaning
Yes.
behind it. And so
Yes.
that's so beautiful. I love that. That's
Thank
story.
you.
Thank you
And
for
thank
sharing
you.
that.
And with that name, like I said, my nephews and they loved it, because my mother-in-law was someone so special in our lives. So when they saw the name ForeverPaz, they were asking for shirts, and, you know, and it was amazing to see my family wear my shirts, my creation. And it was just a very powerful feeling that it just gave me, and I just wanted to just keep on pushing and keep on pushing, and I'm still pushing.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
thank you. I know we see everything that you're so creative, your talents, your purpose shines through, and you're just very driven and focused on community and family. And so that definitely, I see all of that
Thank
through not
you.
just your brand and in your business, but in you and how you show up and how you present yourself. So
Thank you. I
I appreciate
appreciate that. Thank
that.
you.
So tell us, you touched on it a little bit. Tell us a little bit about how it was growing up for you. So you touched on the fact that, some of your family members were entrepreneurs, like your
Yeah,
mom. And what was it like growing up for Veronica, as you were like a child coming in? Like, did you also aspire one day to have your business, or did you have other aspirations? Like, how was it for you?
I did. I was inspired to have my business after, I was a teen mom. So when I started, well, as growing up, I was born in East LA. All my family's pretty much from East LA. My stepdad had a business in East LA called, he used to call gas sewing machines. Maybe a lot of people from East LA know where that's located, because he's pretty much the only mechanic there that will fix sewing machines, so he
Oh,
knew a lot of people in town. So he also inspired me. I seen the challenge, so growing up, it was school and going helping at the shop. It was either copying invoices, or, my mom's like, copia esto and write it down better and this and that, or I don't know, always doing something in the shop, so it was the school, shop, and then, he would reward us with tacos at the end. So that was always exciting to go have some kind of tacos and una chata. So, but, growing up in East LA, it was tough. I was there in the 80s and in the 90s. 90s, I was already about 9 or so, and we saw a lot of violence. The gangs were very strong and everything like that back then. So I saw a lot of people passed away. So to me, even though I was so young, it I did lose family members as well. I had to tell myself there's a purpose. There's a purpose for me. I need to do something, I need to make this life wild. Like, besides being a mom and a wife, and my uncles, even from my mom's side and my dad's side, they're all entrepreneurs pretty much. My grandma, que paz descanse, she used to have a restaurant in Cesar Chavez, and she
oh,
vendía tamales. O sea, era Michoacán, Urapan tamales. And oh my God, I used to be so amazed, like 8, 9 years old, 10, había una línea, there was a line just to get her tamales. And I used to feel so cool that me and my dad would just cross all, walk right in front like
in
VIPs,
the
and my grandma
VIPs.
serving my dad sus tamales, and so there's a lot. I mean, I can go on all day, but I know we have to keep it short. But there's a lot that inspired me growing up. My mom, being her own entrepreneur, having her own fabrica, Margie's Fashion. My stepdad having his own, shop too, a sewing machine. So my uncles having uniform places in South LA. So there's all these people, they had inspired me. And I think that I take a little piece of everyone and has made me who I am now. But most of all, I'm proud that I took the chance to take all that past and everything, trauma,
Yeah.
that I'm just always thankful that made me stronger. And I just want to cut the chain and do something different. It wasn't easy for me to just say, I'm going to start a business. I really had to look at the pros and the cons of how will this work and how would it not work, and growing up, seeing everyone around me in East LA and South LA, making it happen, able to still purchase a home with their own money, their own struggles, their own sweat. That had inspired me so much, and it still inspires me because some of my uncles still have their shops, and my stepdad passed away as well too. But he would have still been here, he would have still had his shop. So there's a lot of stuff that still inspired me to move forward. My brother wanted to be a boss himself, so that also makes me feel like I have to walk for him and make it happen and continue to make my mom proud, even though she's already proud. But my mom has a lot to do with the person who I am now, because esa señora he sido fuerte through it all. So that has a lot to do with me as being, growing up with all these entrepreneur people around me, and no matter when times are tough, they just keep on pushing. So that's very powerful for me.
That's so beautiful, and thank you for sharing that, being so open. I think a
Thank
lot of people can resonate with that. I think you inspire a lot of people because we have similar stories to share, right? About the hardship, about even passing the trauma that's happened in our lives. We all walk with scars, right? There's
Yes.
something that's happened in our life, and so you turn that into something so beautiful through your business.
Thank
And you
you.
continue, and I know everyone is proud of you, whether they're in heaven or whether they're still here with us. They're
Thank you.
proud of seeing where you're going. And I really think I'm a firm believer on entrepreneurship. I always say is like it's a mindset, it's a spirit that people have, right? It's that
Yes.
drive. And so
Yes.
everything, it sounds like everything you went through growing up, what you observed, you being very hands-on and just appreciating, right? That like
That's
all that it brought
important.
really does make you who you are as a person. And I think is really why your business is so successful and why you're continuing to just push. So
Thank you.
I just want to encourage you to keep doing that. And thank you for sharing your
Yeah,
story.
thank you. Thank you.
So I know we talked a little bit already around like what inspired you to start that. So again, I think that continuing to share that with people is really important. So I hope that you will take every opportunity, and I know you will, to highlight your business and also highlight the story behind the business, as I said.
And just real quick, I also want to share that you inspired me as well. The woman that we have dinner with on Saturday inspired, because it's good to know, to be around females that pretty much you're in the same boat. We all have different, business and stuff like that. But when we come together, it's like we become one. And that's amazing. That's amazing, because it's not easy out there for someone to really understand what you're doing and stuff like that. But I learned that I need to pass that, because what I'm doing, it comes from the heart. So I also want to say that you also inspire me too, Rocio. So
Oh,
you're
thank
definitely
you.
one of them.
Thank you, Veronica.
You're
That's really
welcome.
nice of you. And so when it comes to your business, well, digging a little deeper, even still, in terms of like the purpose of your business, the mission of your business, we know that, we are generating revenue and wealth for our families. Of course, that's something that our businesses are doing for us. And one of the reasons why we start businesses too, where we need the funding too, to keep producing our product or our service. But aside from that, the deeper kind of rooted mission or purpose of your business, and you mentioned it a little bit earlier when you were sharing about helping your community or helping other business owners. But can you speak to that a little bit more, the purpose behind the business?
Yes, definitely. Well, when I was looking into the business, I wanted to design, and designing was something that I realized that I admire all designers. It's a lot of work. You have to really throw yourself out there and convince why would they buy your product and stuff like that, So, with having babies and everything, I mean, they were literally like 6-7 months or so, my little one, I needed to do something more where I was gonna fully focus, but something more a little easier for me to do, which I came to find out was not that easy. Being a screen printer, it's a lot of work. But also what inspired me to be a screen printer is that it was more of a man's job. And I was looking into all these details and YouTube, I'm like, puros hombres, like, where are my ladies at, And finally I came across, she's an amazing, her name, Lisa, and I forgot her name, but they have a business in downtown LA, and they're female screen printers. And when I was like, looking into, I went into their website, I'm like, wow, these mujeres son chingonas, like, wow, because when you get into details, it's a man's job. You get your fingers dirty, you get, your clothes dirty, you're messing with inks, you're messing with film. It's like a liquid type of film. You have to wash screens. So just the fact that I started going deeper into the screen printing business, I realized the change that I could probably do for someone. The meaning of it as helping myself out, but also helping you out. My sister was the first one that hired me to do her first job. My brother-in-law was gonna do a walk, and true story. It's funny now, but at the time I was crying. I screen printed some shirts for her. So I was still in the process of learning screen printing. So it was raining that day. It was raining. It was in Santa Monica. And I remember I cried because I saw my brother like todo cansado, mojado. And I'm like, oh, Victor, we're proud of you. But when I seen his shirt, the ink was like coming off. Oh my God. I just like, it's okay. And I'm like, no, I'm crying because I'm emotional for him. But the shirt, she's like, it's okay. Don't worry. So that just made me like, okay, you need to really get this together. We really want to make this, because I already have purchased a machine and other little supplies. So it just inspired me to just create more shirts for walks and people's like desire ideas, like they want to, hey, can you make me a shirt because I'm gonna have a special event. So I want to learn how to make it better, better. And even when I failed on business, I will waste like shirts, and I'm like, okay, it's gonna get there. I will cry. I'm like, maybe did I get involved in the right business? So little by little, I just like, okay, I've just been very blessed that my husband's been very patient with me. It's okay, you'll get it better next time. Don't worry, just go buy more shirts. But that's not the way it's supposed to be, So little by little, I started getting stronger. And then when I started getting to that point, I started advertising myself more. I started like, okay, maybe I need to start going around my neighborhood, pass out flyers, open an Instagram account for my business, and letting the people know what I can do for them. If they want to start a small clothing line, a t-shirt line, maybe I can help them. So that, to me, most of all, it was not about the money, it was about the acknowledgement. I'm always been more hungry about the acknowledgement, because once they know what you're doing and they know what you can do for them by me showing them what I can do. Wash your shirt, you see it won't come off, or then that I'll see that the money will come in little by little. So I have taken hardships in a lot of ways, but at the same time, it always inspired me. Like when you wanted to, create your shirts, I love that. Like, yeah, let me make this for you, So that's what gets me excited about my business most of all, to create your ideas, to bring them to life. So that's what my business is all about, creating your ideas.
I love that. And I love how you touch on breaking those barriers. We hear that often, it's a men's world, or it's a male dominated or a white dominated industry, or whatever it might be. And we hear that, and you took the risk. You decided to take the leap of faith. You believed in yourself, and you're like, I'm going to break through this barrier. And I think that is just so important. And it's so incredible to hear that there's women like you that are out there that are pushing through those walls and breaking those walls and doing what you want to do. And the purpose of community. And I feel that with you, where you definitely, I see the selflessness about your business, right? The community that, like you said, it's like you get excited about being able to share someone's story or be that person that can add to that experience, right? So it becomes an experience for people to be also creative and to work with you in partnership and collaborate with you. So that all that, I think, really does make up who you are, what your business is all about, and what you're continuing to do. And so I know you touched on some struggles, that you had in that story. Thank you for sharing that story. I think the tears and all of that, I'm sure everyone listening.
Lots of tears, a lot of hot mess, a lot of ink on the floor, a little bit of everything. And just learning to just do it all. learning to pace myself, learning to divide my time, because I am a wife, I am a daughter, I am, a mom, and I'm also a businesswoman now. So it's something that I had to learn. I had to learn, but I love it because I it's me. I started my company from scratch, and I'm still pushing. I'm still trying to maybe one day own a shop, maybe one day open a warehouse, maybe, all my orders, I do everything's online. So online, or I always welcome people if you want to come over and you can do self pickup, or I can, I always try to find ways to make it easy for my customers. That's what I love to do, because what I really do, I do it with all my heart. And it's something that it's like I raised my business, and I'm still raising my business. So it's like my baby, and it's still my baby, we're getting there. It's a toddler right now, but we're getting, I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna keep pushing.
And there's always room to grow. I think that's
Yeah.
also the beauty of being a business owner and an entrepreneur, is you always have that autonomy and that opportunity to create something new, or to keep growing, or try something, take that risk, or it's a lot of work, but you're thinking about, like, how else can I grow my business, like you're
Yes.
saying now, maybe an online site, and then you're shipping all over the country or globally maybe one
Yes.
day, or
Yes.
there's
I
so many
have.
opportunities.
Yes, I have shipped to Canada. I mean, you name it, Texas. I mean, Etsy, I have an Etsy account too, and that has helped me to, I love the fact that, it's like, oh, you got paid. No, it's my work is out there in Texas, or my work is out there in Canada, or, that's what gets me excited, that someone's wearing something that I created. And, hardships though, when pandemic did hit, it did hurt a lot financially, only because I used to work with schools. I was contract with schools. So I was very blessed that someone that I did a shirt for loved my work and said, hey, she's a counselor from, the Lions charter schools. And she's like, I need you to make these shirts. So that was excited, because that was like my first 300 shirts I was going to do for the school. And I was amazed to see all these audience, all these students just wearing my shirts. I was like, oh my God, it's finally getting there. But when pandemic hit, at the same time, it helped me out a lot too, because I was able to get creative with other stuff. Like, what am I going to do next? I'm not getting custom orders. Maybe it's time for me to create things. Maybe it's time for me. And that's how I got into the mug business. That's how I got into the heat press, the heat transfer business. So I started investing more of other things that I can create and on hand, so people can, the pop-up events. I never done pop-up events. July was my first one. I was so nervous. I'm like, what am I getting myself into? Am I going to be able to communicate with people? Because everything's behind computer. Everything's like behind the camera, So the pop-up event, the pandemic also helped me to throw myself more out there, to be more creative. I hire a lot of designers. I go to Etsy. I purchase their designs too. I don't take full credit for their work, but a lot of little stuff like the Bella mugs, I do create. Like, some stuff I do out of my, I try to be creative as much as I can, but that also has helped, even though it was hard time at the moment, because, I lost, school was closed. That was mostly my secure income coming in too. But it also helped me to be more creative in designing stuff and putting on my pop-up events, and people can see the mugs that I created, and the tote bags and the t-shirts and the mask and makeup bags. A little bit of everything is always fun. Un poquito de todo.
Sí, un poquito de todo. Sí.
Sí.
And then back to that collaboration, right? You found outlets to, okay, that's not as reliable right now. Who do I go to? Who's going to give me that opportunity to work with them, or to help me highlight my business? And so it's finding those opportunities, those doors. Sometimes we gotta, there's a saying, and I'm gonna butcher the saying, but something like about, like, if you don't have a seat at the table, like, bring your own chair kind of thing, right? So it's like, don't sit and wait. You gotta look for those opportunities, and you definitely have done that. So
Thank you.
that's so
Keep
amazing.
Keep pushing.
Keep pushing. Sigue adelante.
Sí, exactamente.
So what tips would you give, or maybe advice would you give to Latina entrepreneurs that are, maybe they're sitting in their house right now thinking, I would love to start a business, or they're sitting in their house thinking, oh my gosh, my business is a disaster, I can't do this anymore? What advice or tips or words would you give those entrepreneurs to give them animo to just say, it's okay, you can do this?
Definitely. And I would say, advise you what I experienced myself. If you're gonna start something, business, get all your facts together, get your pros and cons, what's gonna work, what's not gonna work. Also having my own business, you're gonna do something, you're gonna do this, do it for yourself. Don't expect for people to support you. I was blessed with certain people in my life that supporting me. My mom, hermana, oh my God, they've been so amazing. My husband, but don't expect for people to support you fully. What you expect, oh, I have all these friends and I have all, no, it's not gonna happen. You know, there's a say so that says people like to see you do good, but not better than them. And even though if you're not doing better than them, is the fact that it's just don't pay attention to that. Focus to the people that are there for you, but most of all, focus on yourself. What's the purpose of your business? Why are you doing your business? Those are the goals and the questions that I had to write everything down. I have about 3-4 agendas, and they all have notes. You know, I have a board in my office. They all have notes because I have to constantly remind myself what I'm doing. So always stay focused. And if you're having a bad day, just take the day off, relax, watch a movie, drink a tea, eat a coffee, and your thoughts will come back again. Because you live and you learn. But the beautiful meaning of owning a business is that you get to be your own hot mess, but at the same time, you get to clean yourself back up, you know? And that's what makes you stronger. That's what makes you who you are. So my advice for business is keep on pushing. Don't give up. If you have an idea, there's a purpose. There's a purpose behind that idea. So always make the best of it. Mi mamá me dice, tú eres una chingona, mija. Pero it's like, porque I'm learning not to give up. I'm learning to keep pushing. And self-love is everything. Love yourself. Accept who you are. And accepting who you are, loving yourself, this piece of business will be a piece of cake with challenges all the time. But that's what makes it beautiful. Keep on pushing, make it yours, be proud of yourself. And most of all, just, I was gonna say, always be proud of yourself. I'm always proud of myself, what I'm doing. I don't care if, you know, people don't like my stuff or share my posts, but I am thankful for the ones that do. I'm very thankful for the ones that like, share my stuff. When I saw you, I'm like, who's this girl that shared my business? Oh my God, you made my day that day, you know? Even though I'm already, my sister always tells me, you're there already, you're there. But it's like, doesn't mean that you're there. You really feel like you're there because every day is new. Every day is going to be a new challenge. Every day is always going to be different. But it was amazing to wake up to say, Bella, you know, share. And I'm like, wow, that was like, I was so thankful since then. I was like, this lady is amazing. She's amazing for helping, you know, all of us Latinas, you know, business owners, just helping out. And that's very powerful. So that would be my advice. Keep on pushing. Don't give up. And just appreciate the people that appreciate you and they're there. Don't focus on the people that don't. Because that was another challenge that I did have. It's like, why is So's not sharing my posts? And I thought we were friends. And why? Like, oh my God. But then I was like, no, shake it off. Shake it off. That's not the point why you're in this business. You're in this business because you love what you do. So just love what you do and love yourself and everything will be easy.
That is so important. I love that message of self-love and loving what you do. And you're right, it's hard not to hear all that noise, right? And you come in saying, okay, pues si hago esto, fulanita me va a ayudar, fulanito me va a ayudar. You're already giving people jobs and never even asked them if they were willing to.
No, I have got negative comments like, shirts, you're gonna sell shirts? Like, really? Or like, when are you ever gonna get a real job? Like, I heard it all. And it was hurtful because these are supposed to be people that are important in your life. But then I was like, you know what? I need to shake it off. And I'm just gonna keep on pushing. And that's all we can do is just keep on pushing. Don't let those words bring you down. Don't, because it can ruin it can turn off someone's candle. Those words are very, very powerful when they bring you down. And you can have this idea and feel high as the sky, and then así mismo los caímos así tan rápido. So be stronger than that. Just believe on yourself. That's it. That's all you need, believing on yourself. That's the most powerful medicine we can use for our souls.
I love that, Veronica. Thank you so much. This has been really just beautiful to hear more about your story and all those words of wisdom and inspiration that you're sharing with everybody that's listening. I just really appreciate the time that you took and that you know, you have here to share that. It's sometimes it's not easy to share certain things about our journey, but I feel like you were very open about it, and I really appreciate you. Any, as we're just kind of closing the interview, any last final kind of comments that you want to share with everybody before we log out and end the interview?
Um, just my only advice is just keep pushing. Don't give up. I know you guys heard that before. And life is too short. You have to make the best of it. Make your business the best of it. And let's just live a positive energy life. That's all we can do. So thank you for listening to my story, and I really appreciate it. And you guys can find me on Instagram. And you guys have any questions? I'm always willing to help and answer.
Yes, please make sure you all follow Veronica at ForeverPaz Custom Printing, her Instagram handle. We're going to post it. You should see it down below once this is on the website. So make sure that you're supporting her, you're supporting all Latina entrepreneurs everywhere, and that all of you, if you're an entrepreneur, small business owner, keep believing in yourself. Make sure that you that this message that Veronica shared with us really hits deep. We believe in you. We love you. We want to thank you for all that you do for community, and we'll see you next time at the next interview. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Adelante. Adios.
Bye.
Bye.